What's going on, everybody? I'm Joe Cordero. I'm the chaplain for high school and junior high at Loma Linda Academy, and I am excited to be here with Pastor Baron Savori for our first episode, or our first introduction, I should say, to Lifecast. Lifecast, our new podcast. Pastor Baron, how you feeling today, man?
Listen, I'm feeling good today. Joe, I'm just so excited to launch off with this Lifecast, man. I think it's going to be amazing. I hope that we get a lot of engagement for the students there at Loma Linda. I'm excited about it. This is the first one. So, man, let's have a good time. Let's enjoy it. And we'll jump into, there'll be times of laughing and there'll be times where it's going to be serious, but it's all good. It's all good.
Exactly. What is this all about? Like, what are we doing?
Yeah. So, right now, our young people, particularly you that are listening to this, many of you all are students at Loma Linda Academy or your teens at another school. Maybe there's some parents that are listening to this right now, even. Our world has been turned upside down. We're facing three major things that have been going on in society. There's issues of the pandemic that's going on, which is the main reason why. As a matter of fact, I'm sure that, Joe, you would probably have started a podcast or done it before, even if school was in session, but how more important now to even have this way of being able to communicate. So there's a pandemic that's going on. And then in the middle of this pandemic, there was once again a rise in attention that was given to social justice matters. And that's a big deal. And then, for many of the students and the kids, they've been involved in local elections at their schools or running for, class president and different things like that. And every 4 years, they get a chance to watch the nation do this whole process. And we have that's going on. And so there's all these things, but really at the heart of it, Chaplain Joe, I just really want people to have perspectives on culture, on current culture, and what Jesus has to say. What does the life of Christ have to say about some of the things that are going on culturally, and then how they can make a positive difference and make a change in the spheres of influence that they have. Each and every one of you as a young person has influence. They talk about influencers on Instagram and influencers on TikTok and all these other platforms. But whether that's just your close nucleus of friends, you have influence. And we just believe that talking and sharing on these topics, various topics that we'll discuss over the next few episodes, hopefully it inspires you to do something and to take some action and to use your influence to do positive things.
Yes. So in a sense, this is what we came up with, Pastor Brown and I. This podcast, Lifecast, is about seeing life from the perspectives of current culture, Jesus, with the gospel.
Come on, you can get it out.
One more time. This podcast, Lifecast, is about seeing life from the perspectives of current culture and Jesus with the goal of positive action. That makes a difference in your spheres of influence.
Yeah. And that your sphere of influence, man, is key because, it's one thing to have influence. I'm a pastor here in the Inland Empire. You're a chaplain there at Loma Linda Academy. We have some influence with where it is that we are. But each and every young person, they have influence too.
Right. Absolutely. And conversations, we talk about having dialogue all the time. But I like what you said before, conversations, they only get us so far. But what are we going to do from the conversations that have happened between us, right? What is the action? What is the starting point for us after that? So we hope that, we can come up with practical steps for each other, for our listeners, and challenges for us to actually do something after the conversation has been had, right?
Yeah. And that's really, really the big deal about it. It's one thing we can hear a lot of things, but at the end of the day, It's what it is that we do. What is it? What's the action that follows a conversation? Because if all we did is talk, that's cool and that's informative. But what's life changing, life changing is when we go out and we actually do something about it. And so, yeah, that's the goal. That's the goal. So, man, I'm excited. Let's talk about some of the things that we're going to be covering during this time.
One thing we do definitely need to talk about is what's going on with the world in terms of tension with the conversations about racial inequality, right? And then bringing that to Loma Linda Academy specifically, right? Like how are things going on here? You know, what has been some of the conversations that have been happening here, and how can we push for a better future for all our students, and especially our Black students, right? And giving a better space and a better, doing better, really, from what we've failed in before. So.
Yeah, you know, it's so true. You know, I graduated from Loma Linda in 1996, way back in the day, you know. So if you're watching this podcast, I'm rocking my maroon and white, you know, Roadrunner colors. But, you know, there's been tension there at the school, if we're honest about it, for some time. And I'm really happy to see that some intentional positive steps are taking place. You know, for some students, they might not even know that there have been, you know, some challenges and some issues with minority students and, you know, particularly Black students. And some of the stories just aren't good. There's no way to sugarcoat it. There's no way to make it sound better or feel better. Right. It just isn't good. And it's upsetting. And now, is as good a time as any. I mean, wish some changes could have been made, you know, 10 or 15 years ago, but there's no better time than right now. There's nothing we can do about those times other than learn from them. And what I'm seeing right now, Joe, I'm really excited that the school is taking some very positive steps forward. There's a BSU, a Black Student Union, that's being formed right now. And that's a real exciting step because now the Black students there at Loma Linda have a club of their own to be able to bring about some positive action from the perspective of Black Americans and those that are Blacks from other areas of the world, because it's a multicultural school. There are people that have African descent and South American descent and others that identify as Black. And so I think that's just an exciting thing that the school is doing.
Yes, definitely. And want to get into like, what does praise and protest look like during this time, right? Like, where do we find our role as a community of believers? And when we see these different stories that we see on the news, like where do we stand in all of that? Like, what does that mean for us, for our students, for our families? So we want to definitely engage with some of those conversations, talking about even systemic racism in education in itself, right? Yeah. Taking a step further, like what does that look like? How have we experienced that in different levels of education? And then we want to talk about straight up getting into, what does it look like to engage in talking about privilege and wealth and poverty and inequity, right?
Yeah.
Like those are all real things.
These are all real things. And the fact that those that are listening to this have access to at least talk about these particular subjects is so important, particularly when you're talking about privilege and inequality. There's some things, and I look forward to having some guests on with us, Joe, because it's not just going to be us all the time. It's going to be some guests that are going to join us as well to talk about privilege and inequality, talk about poverty, talk about different things that have happened historically, like redlining. Some people might not have ever heard of that before, but that was a real thing that happened in America, and what wealth really is and what it looks like and how it's built, and why some communities really, really struggle. And, really at the end of the day, these topics and these things that people have experienced in mass in mass, as a whole group of people, really being able to listen and to give life to those conversations and to be able to look through a new lens. I think about the story of Jesus, right? And the woman that was there at the well, and, it's a well-known story. Joe, you probably talked about it, preached about it. But there was racial tension there. I don't know if some of the students know that there was some cultural racial tension that was going on when Jesus encounters this woman at the well. It wasn't just a conversation. And so we want to talk about some of those things and how we can get in between those things and respond how Jesus might respond. And what does that look like for a 14-year-old or a 15-year-old or, a junior and a senior that's about to go out into the world, and it's a much wider place, and there's a lot more ideas out there. We just want to start some of those conversations in the mind of you as Loma students.
Exactly. So those are sneak peeks of what we'll be getting into over the next few episodes. But before we end this intro, for those listening who don't know who Pastor Barone is, Pastor Barone, can you tell us a little bit about yourself, man? Get to who is this guy? Come on.
I was born in Los Angeles. I was born at the White Memorial Hospital in LA. So when I hear that song, I was born in East LA, it makes a lot of sense to me, because that's exactly where I was born there. And I grew up right here in San Bernardino, right here in this area. Grew up, went to a school called Fairview Junior Academy, which is no longer open. One of our academies there in Highland, California. Actually, it was so close to my house, I walked to school for like 6 years of my life. So I would throw a backpack on, I would just walk to school every day. And then I transitioned from there and went to Loma Linda Academy, graduated there, class of 96, hanging there in the high school hall. So if you go through there, you look for Barone Savory, you'll see my picture there. Hanging out there. So I went there and then, of course, went to Oakwood College, Oakwood University now. Graduated from there with a degree in theology and came back and been pastoring here in Southeastern ever since. Been a lot of different places throughout this conference, but primarily in Riverside and San Bernardino County. And then I also got my MDiv from Andrews. So I left here, got my MDiv, and came back. I got two beautiful girls. I'm a huge Laker fan, so
let's go.
Lakers, if you're listening to this in real time, hopefully the Lakers have made it past Houston. I think it's going to happen. LeBron, AD are playing amazing. And big Dodgers fan. Sorry, Angels fans. I know there's a lot of Angels fans out here, but I've always Dodger blue, go Dodgers. Here's a fun fact. You probably didn't bargain on this one right here, Joe. But have you ever played hockey before? You ever played hockey?
Only when I was very young.
Oh man,
so look, I don't have real experience.
I had a friend of mine, Jared Vargas. We were in school together, man. I played roller hockey for like 5 years, man. So I was pretty sick with the rollerblades, believe it or not, man.
That is amazing.
Huge Kings fan, man. This is when Gretzky was out there playing and everything like that. So I love that. And I enjoy a lot of different sports. So you name it, I probably tried it, from golf to tennis to soccer to badminton, even, racquetball, handball, softball. Wow. If it had a ball, I might have tried it at some point in time.
I respect it, man. I respect it.
And then currently I'm pastoring over in Rialto. So I'm the senior pastor over at the Valley Fellowship Church in Rialto. So
bless.
That's a whole lot about me, man. So yeah, that's
fun fact. Pastor Brown will be joining our religion department for a little bit. And teaching one of the classes. So it's really exciting. Really glad to have Baron on the team and to be doing ministry together in this capacity. So this is going to be a good time.
It's going to be a good time. I'm looking forward to it. And to all the students out there, thanks for taking the time to just check this out. You've heard a few about the topics, but I don't know. I'm just going to throw this out here. You and I didn't talk about this, Joe, but is there a place, if they had a comment or if they had a question or a suggestion, where could they go to drop you like an email or anything like that?
Yeah, either visit our website, llaministry.org, or easy way right now is to shoot us a DM on our Instagram at Campus Ministries. So we'll see all your comments there. But in the meantime, I mean, we might work on something else, but those are the two ways right now.
Perfect. Yo, this is going to be fun. I'm looking forward to it, man.
Yeah, other than that, we'll see you on the next episode on Lifecast. Peace out.